Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's kind of sad though. I'm definitely thinning as I get older, and I can tell after I buzz it now. It's kind of sad. It's my buzz is definitely not as thick as it used to be, but it's not like horrible yet. I'm trying to find. I'm curious, and this will be a question for Beast Mode. When did they change the CRC acronym to the Committee for Rules and Coordination? I'd never heard that. It's always been a Commissioners and Rules Committee, I believe. But I think that was kind of a product of NLTP when there were separate roles for Commissioner and Rules members. Trying to find out info. Map selection. That's kind of what we're looking at here. Try to get beast mode here in a second. Alright, so after week 1, and I'll ask them all this, you submit your map. Where are the highlights here? I should open this in a separate tab. That's on me. No accelerated wheats. Talked about the home maps, new map system, high prio, low prio, home. DEPs for novice is an interesting one. And obviously pick, pay, and revised. Very interesting. Season 27, was that wasn't the merge season, was it? Yeah. I don't know where Cheese gets off thinking he can just change it. I mean, the CRC acronym is, well, that made sense. He destroys any vestige of NLTP by merging seasons and bringing everything in line with one another, and he changes the CRC acronym. It's kind of sad. It's not even a good committee name. Committee for Rules and Coordination, please. I think Beast Mode is pissing real quick and then he'll be here, so. Don't think this is going to last terribly long, but any viewer questions, get them in the chat. We'll make sure we ask Beast Mode those. Wonder why would nobody proofreads? They need to hire you to do the proofreading, I guess. This generation's lack of attention to detail to basic grammatical concepts is sad. What's up, Beast?
Hey,
What's going on, dude?
not a whole lot, just another fantastic day to be on the CRC. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Huge release tonight, actually. I'm super pumped about this. So we kind of ran over the highlights. I'll do it one more time. But so, quick summary: no accelerated weeks. We're going back to traditional game days, one game day a week. So that's all fine. And then the really exciting stuff: home maps for this season. For both regular season and some playoff availability. And then what's like the last major update? DEP's coming to novice potentially.
It's all big time, and let me start like this. 2.5 weeks ago, you brought me onto your stream, and I talked to you how we're gonna fundamentally change the framework of MLTP for the better. The last 2.5 weeks has been extremely tiresome as I've worked with the evil CRC members to enact and execute a lot of my platform and agenda that the MLTP constituency voted me in for. And today is just such a momentous day because we're going to be able to execute all of that. And I'm going to start with something pretty simple here. We're releasing maps before signups are even out there. We're not this procrastinating CRC anymore. We're not these guys just sitting on our asses waiting for things to happen, drop a few maps halfway through the season starts. No, we're getting ahead of shit. We want to get people excited because this is really going to be the best season of MLTP in a really long time.
Yeah, talk to me real quick about the base map rotation. So, what I gathered from Cheese's post: high priority, low priority maps. That priority determines how many times they're played during the season. I guess talk about the process of the map panel, how you guys got to these maps, and then what kind of made that determination between high prio and low prio.
Yeah, for sure. So, with this map selection, I think you'll notice a few unique things. One is Mapache Chief isn't there, and
Yep. Pull one out.
Pull one out, guys. But we still have an opportunity with the home maps. But another thing is, with the introduction of home maps, as a map panel, we decided that we wanted to lean in on a relatively conservative map rotation, understanding that people in the league are going to be able to play all sorts of other maps this season. So we wanted to ensure that with the base rotation we have right now, these are maps people enjoy playing on. They're proven winners that people love. People play it on TPM. People played it in prior seasons. So there's really nothing too crazy there that's going to shy people away from the league. In terms of high priority versus low priority, we had a vote on a bunch of different maps that we thought would be good for MLTP, including Mapache Chief. The top maps were the high priority ones. The next ones in the voting system came as our lower priority maps.
And then the high versus low just necessary because home maps take up X number of games, so some maps need to be played less, correct?
It's actually less about the home map. So when we're looking at the schedule, we have 7 weeks of Tag Pro.
Well, let me ask you that real quick. So normally, or at least at the last couple of seasons, it's been 7 weeks for majors. Minors has always been 6 weeks. Is that changing?
So that's changing. It'll be 7 weeks of both, and just kind of the way the schedule works, it makes a lot of sense to do it like that.
Gotcha. But go ahead with what you were saying. Sorry.
There's 7 weeks of Tag Pro, and we have like 9 different maps. So there's going to be 2 different maps each week being played. That would be like 14 slots for maps. So just based off of those 14 slots, it makes sense to play some of them a little more frequently and some of them a little less frequently. That's 4 out of the 5 games. Obviously, the 5th game every week starting week 2 is going to be played on the home team's home map.
Gotcha. And then some discussion in Miners discussion about kind of guardrails regarding home map selection. Can you kind of give us an idea of what those guardrails are? And it's got to be capture the flag, obviously. And then
let me take a few steps back here, and let me start with the general allure of home maps.
Sure.
And when we're talking about what this is in the introduction to the league and the impact on different teams, their records, and all that, in the regular season, it really shouldn't be driving that drastic of a difference in people's records. People are going to be playing on their home maps 1 week uh, every one of their home games. So that'll be 3 times max for 1 game total. So that's only 30 minutes per home map getting played. I think where it's a little more monumental is in playoffs. So it really, let's say this whole experiment goes wrong, which I highly doubt it will because it's been set up for success. We're hedging here. There's not going to be a lot riding on teams' performance on home maps.
Sure.
So that is kind of how we structured it from that standpoint. As it relates to what can and can't be a home map, we're really opening it up. We were going to write some rules. It was pointed out that we forgot to enter that section. So it's going to be pretty high level, the rules. We want to make sure that teams aren't that restricted when selecting their home maps. But at the same time, the map panel is going to ensure that every map plays in the competitive integrity of MLTP. We don't want shit like Holy See as a home map. We don't want anything that's broken. We want real maps where you could play real Tag Pro, and we're going to ensure that that's going to be the case. So things like 2 flags, a red flag and a blue flag, is going to be mandatory, you know?
Right.
There's not going to be maps with like 5 or more pups, things like that. But really, outside of that, we want to ensure that we're really opening up the spectrum for GMs to design a map that gives their team a home team advantage without just being broken and like not Tag Pro. So one thing I'd encourage to any of the aspiring GMs out there, any of the people who are really excited to play on their home map, you know, there's maps that we did not select in rotation, things like Pilot that, you know, everyone knows how to play for. You might look at that, you might think, hey, you know, I'm going to make my home map Pilot. That's going to be great. You're not giving your team any advantage there. Everyone knows how to play Pilot, so I think what we really do have for GMs to look at is a whole slew of old pub maps, which could possibly be good, or the ability to partner with a map maker or partner with yourself to make your own map that your team can practice on and get better than anyone else. Because again, in the regular season, you know, 1 game every 2 weeks isn't going to be too significant. But if you have that home field advantage in the playoffs and you get that first game on your home map, that 1-0 start in the playoffs could be huge. So it's just something to consider.
Yeah, and that's the part I think is so exciting about it. The custom map aspect of it. It's not just, it's like you say, it's really giving teams an opportunity to really give themselves an advantage, especially like you say in playoffs once it becomes more important.
And that's where we're going to see it come to life. I think just the opportunity to watch a team play on their home map and either A, dominate, or B, get dominated. Either way, that's a win-win, and it's something that could be really exciting for everyone to watch.
I can just picture now like someone losing on their home map in playoffs, and just the crap they would get for it, dude.
Stream with Ichi screaming his ass off that he lost on his home map that his brother created for him. It's what MLT is built off of.
Yeah, I can see a lot of engagement coming from it for sure. Let's see. Anything else on home maps you want to cover?
No, I think we covered it all. I think a lot of people have flagged like, hey, this doesn't seem like it's gonna work, or hey, I don't know about this. I'm just gonna go ahead and say you're wrong right here, right now.
Yep.
We've done a ton of work, like really a ton of great discussion to ensure that this is not going to be a broken system by any means. And there's been so much hedging involved just to ensure that we're creating a system that is adding the excitement that we want to add to the league without taking away from what people love. So I think for everyone, the people who want fun, unique maps, they should sign up. And for the boring BDLs of this world, they should also sign up because they're still going to get to play the boring maps that they come to know and love.
I guess maybe one thing to add, so pick ban process per the post changes a little bit with home maps. Can you give us some details on how that changes?
Definitely. So this is a pretty exciting part and something that we also had a lot of conversation as a committee to just make things competitive and give an edge to the higher seed as much as we can, so where they deserve it. So going into the early playoff rounds, the higher seed will have their home map in the pick ban pool. The lower seed will not have their home map in the pick ban pool. The higher seed can pick their home map, or they could pick a different map. If they pick a different map, the lower seed can ban the home team's home map, but in doing so, there's a penalty, I think they forfeit their next choice after that.
Interesting. Okay.
So again, it puts a little more emphasis. Ideally, if the system works, the higher seed is going to want to pick their home team. And it just puts a little more emphasis on the regular season and ensuring that teams are trying all the way through to get that higher seed to get their home map in the pool for their early playoff games. That all changes for the championship. So in the championship, both home maps are going to be in the pool.
And I would imagine
the possibility of
no penalty
playing.
for banning at that point, right?
I think there might be the penalty still, but if you're gonna ban someone else's home map in the championship, like you're taking that away from the viewers, and you kind of deserve a penalty.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to find the pick ban layout on this the pre-release, so I couldn't quickly find it. So mark that one as a follow-up. Okay, so home maps, love it. High prio, low prio, all that. Moving on, I think one of the big issues from last season that's kind of continued discussion into this season has been minors to novice DEPs. So tell me why now there's the ability for minors players to DEP and novice when it wasn't possible before.
Extremely frankly, this isn't an issue I really gave any fucks about.
Okay. I figured it was more like a spheroid thing, but
no, I'll take you through our thought process where it wasn't actually a rule last year, but I think the CRC ended up making some exceptions to kind of test it out. What we saw is minors players who were at the bottom of the barrel, who I think kind of fell in both categories, almost always had just an awful team in minors. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe some got dropped. I don't really know. So I think just looking at all the data from last year, it just made too much sense to replicate the system and put it into an LTP.
I guess any concerns from you? I know you don't really care about it, but any concerns from you of it's kind of like a water wheel in minors situation, where even if they're a fourth ball in minors, they're just clearly better than everyone else in novice.
Yeah, I think the gap between a low majors player and a high minors player is just still a lot bigger than the gap between. Or it's not even that. It's what a low majors player would bring to the table on a minors team versus what a low minors player would bring to the table on an NLTP team. I think there's kind of this carry ball effect, and like it's a good way I could describe it. Like I'd never get eligible to be an NLTP DEP. But if you put me in that league, I wouldn't break it or anything because I could hold my own in minors, but like I just don't have that like carry ball attribute to me, and I don't think a lot of these lower minor players do. So I'm not particularly concerned about that happening.
Made sense to me. What else am I missing here? I guess
I just saw a question in
in
minors discussion from Halpa. He asked, why do home map games not count for player stats?
Is that true?
That is true. And actually, I voted for it to count for player stats. I think that there's an awful obsession among majors players with their stats, and I think we should be counting things like overtime and home maps all in that. I think what the CRC ultimately decided is we wanted to level the playing field and ensure, people always look at stats to track rewards and how different people are doing kind of on a like-for-like fair basis, and we just wanted to ensure that consistency. Nameless, who's on the map panel, had this analogy. He said that's a good idea because when I choose Market as my home map and get 7 minutes to prevent every half, it would be really noticeable.
I mean, that's a fair point, but I'll counter kind of with a traditional sports argument. Like you see baseball in particular is like this. Fields have different home run rates or hit rates based on the construction of the field. I mean, and then awards and discussions about awards take that into account. I don't see why we couldn't do the same with home maps.
Again, I'm like 1,000,000,000% in your camp here, and I always have a tendency to compare everything to sports. It's just not ultimately what we wanted to do, and I think possibly as we evaluate, the results this season bring to the table, we could possibly implement something like that in the future. But for year one, where we're really trying to ensure popularity on the concept is strong, and everyone on the spectrum, from the me's to the boring BDLs of the world, end up liking the concept, I think it was just kind of a good hedge for now to not count the stats.
So let me continue along that line really quick. So player stats going down. Obviously, it counts for stand-ins, but as far as like playoff tiebreakers, are you considering stats from home maps and playoff tiebreakers?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. So the first playoff tiebreaker is head-to-head.
Yeah.
We've decided that home maps will count in that head-to-head. So if you're head-to-head, you were the away team in that matchup. Tough shit. Get good.
Okay. It seems incongruous to me to do that, but not stats. But
I think stats is more of a thing that's not impactful for anything. Whereas, like,
well, I'm thinking like Caps 4 if it gets to that tiebreaker. Like if you're playing on a home map that encourages high cap games, you're gonna end up with the larger Caps 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I don't think we're gonna get to a point that far down the tiebreaker. Obviously, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Again, this vote on the stats, which I disagree with, was more about preserving the integrity of awards and people's egos. Like
Sure.
BDL.
Let's see. Any other Yelp? I don't know if you know off the top of your head, since Yelp was in chat. I don't know how far down is that Caps 4 tiebreaker. It's not terribly far, is it? I'll look. Anything else while I'm scrolling through the rules here?
I have it up.
Okay.
So first tiebreaker is head-to-head. After that is points acquired versus common opponents. Then is cap diff versus common opponents.
So cap diff could potentially, seize when you might be able to make an argument that a home map affected cap diff. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, remind Kelp in 3 months.
I will. On the whole, I think overall a good change. Potentially some maybe I don't know things to argue about later, but I think overall positive.
Yeah, and I think I'm really anticipating that this is going to be a success, and every single year after this, we'll continue to refine the concept to evolve it to best meet the needs and wants of the MLTP player base. The work that we've done to get this going and get really unanimous approval across the CRC and excitement has been pretty monumental. So we'll only get better from here.
Yep. I think that really covers the major updates. A schedule officially released. Signups are releasing tomorrow, which is great. Like you said, having the maps prior to the signups being out is huge.
Yeah, if I could give a plug, sign up for MLTP, guys. This is gonna be MLTP. This is gonna be a fantastic season. It's gonna be so fun with these home maps. But not just that, I'm gonna be doing a lot of work that maybe the next Fireside Chat I could preview to hopefully build a lot more engagement across different teams, across different people in the league, on Discord mainly. So if you ever wanted a taggable team role, if you ever wanted your team emoji on the server, these are all things I plan on working with the Discord admins to bring, and I'm already making a ton of momentum getting this on the table. So that's just a sneak peek. There's a lot more that I could maybe share next time we chat.
Yeah, awesome. I'm gonna give the viewers any questions. We'll give you about a minute to come up with something.
How many do we have?
We have 10 actually.
Let's go.
I always smash it, dude. I doubt myself.
The over-under for this stream was 5. we doubled it.
Yeah, that's crazy. It shows you the people are excited.
That's like betting on the Raiders -3 tonight.
Let's like some discussion and majors discussion. I think you've covered most of it already.
I gotta say, CRC chat's popping off right now. I don't know if I said something wrong or not, but I'm not reading any of this.
I think it all made sense to me. All right. Well, I don't see any questions in chat, so I guess we'll wrap it up there. Unless you've got anything else you want to close on.
No, that's it. Sign up for MLTP, guys, and we'll chat next time.
Sounds good. Thank you, Beast. All right, everyone. That was Beast Mode, our favorite CRC member. Good update. Player TC cap. Didn't get a chance to ask it. My guess is it'll be similar. I didn't. But I guess time for that to change between now and January 7th. So I guess stay tuned or ping beast mode in Major's discussion. But I'm gonna turn off the stream here. Thank you for all for tuning in. Very, very exciting. Home maps returning to competitive tag pro. Sign ups open tomorrow. Get your sign ups in, and we'll see you later.